his chickens.
All right. Good morning, everybody. It is Saturday, May 25th, 2024, and I'm being swarmed by gnats. And today, join me from a little ride here from Frederick, Maryland, up to Battlefield Harley in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, because Captain Jack the Road King is deciding to act a bit of a fool. He's developed a weird stutter as we're going through town at low speeds, and I'm not entirely sure what's causing it. It has had some fuel work done this year, so I just want to take it up to the dealership and make sure that none of that work is related. So join me on another tale from the Road King. Oh, I parked in wet grass, which probably was not my best decision in the world. And today, my buddy Chris is following me up, and he's doing me a big solid today by taking me home all the way from Pennsylvania to West Virginia. So, ladies, he's single and has a huge heart. He'd make a great boyfriend. All right, get her in first gear. Now I'm in wet grass, so we'll see if I can actually get out. And there's nobody coming. Let's hope I don't spin and proceed to dump it. And there's a gnat in my visor. All right, so I wanted to get this camera angle because it's one I haven't gotten before. You've gotten to see my face the past few times, but now you get to see some control action, so we're giving this a shot. I do need to get a proper chin mount. That is going to be on order soon. There are a few things I'm looking at acquiring before that, though. I'm normally rocking wind deflectors. I don't know if you can see my finger, but I'm normally rocking wind deflectors here in the crash guards, but I finally took them out because they were starting to get a little warm today, and that was getting a bit uncomfortable. But yeah, chin mount, that's going to be a thing at some point this summer. I want to do that before our ride out to Indianapolis, Indiana, which might be spoiled. I don't know. If you're not on the Discord server, you should be. I need to get a link, a perpetual invite link set up and thrown in these videos. But we've been talking about taking a trip to Indianapolis, Indiana. We both like the Indianapolis Speedway, and I got to doing a bunch of research about what to do in Indy. There's a zoo, there's a couple museums, and they all look pretty entertaining. But unfortunately, the racetrack museum is closed till April 2025. Last time I went was, oh gosh, I wasn't driving yet. It was just before I could drive. So I would have been either 13 or 14. So that would have been 2000 and something. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a considerable amount of time. And it's kind of a shame because I know he and I were really looking forward to go up there and do that or go out there rather and do that since I've done it before. And it was fun last time. They took us up on the racetrack. They explained the history of the racetrack, its maintenance, what they actually do to take care of it and things like that. And it's closed. Well, you can still tour the racetrack, but you just can't go in the museum. But if we're going out that far, I'm not just going for a racetrack tour. I want to go in the whole museum. So we'll see how that ends up panning out. And obviously, y'all will be coming along with me for the ride because we would be taking the beautiful hills of western Maryland out through Cumberland, western West Virginia out toward Morgantown. And we don't know if we're going to do the trip in 1 day or two. It is a 9-hour, or let's call it 10 once you get fuel stops and everything baked in. It's got about a 10-hour run at about 500 miles. And it's going to be a doozy. Are you crossing the crosswalk? Nope. And it's going to be a doozy. I've done long trips before, but never on a bike. I've gone from the West Virginia Panhandle to the Raleigh-Durham area, and that's about the high end of what I want to do in a day which the equivalent for this trip would be Columbus or Dayton, Ohio. Probably Columbus, Ohio, rather. And I know plenty of stuff to do in Columbus, so we're looking to do a week-long trip from a Monday to a Sunday. So chances are, if we did leave on a Monday, we'd ride through the day, get to Columbus, check into a hotel for one night in Columbus, and then the next day sleep in, just take our time. And then hit the road and head out for Indy, because I think Indy's only a 3-ish hour run from Columbus. It sounds right. I do hope the GoPro holds on. This is an untested camera position I've been thinking of doing. So we'll find out. Oi! You gonna pull out in front of me, Tesla? Nope. But you're gonna block the crosswalk that you're parked on. Nice thinking. Smart cars make stupid drivers. Camera's hanging on so far. Oh, gotta get the visor up, man. Whew, getting toasty. Not toasty as much as it is humid. It's only 74, 75 degrees. But when you're sitting still and there's no wind flow and the humidity starts to gather up in the helmet, it starts swamp face. Like swamp butt, but your face. So today's just going to be a general ramble. I don't have a whole lot to talk about. Mainly here to test out this camera position. But we're doing the good thing. We're getting the ride in. Even if it's to the mechanic. Which it hasn't stuttered or stumbled yet today, but I also haven't done a lot of in-town running around yet. It happens generally when I'm running around town and I'm on the throttle, off the throttle, on the throttle, off the throttle, just shifting through gears. Which leads me to believe it's just a continuation of my fueling issues I had earlier this year. But the fine mechanics up at Battlefield Harley-Davidson have fixed that. And I'm very fortunate to have found the mechanic I did. It's very rare you get to talk to a decent mechanic, and then when you do, you pay the price they charge and you don't ask questions. And that's kind of where I'm at with the gentleman I work with up at Battlefield Harley. Really, really solid people up there. They don't try to sell you a bike every time you walk in. They don't try to sell you accessories every time you walk in. They'll sit there and have great conversation with you. Even when they know I'm up there not to buy a bike. They'll have great conversation. They've usually got things going on. I think this weekend they have a massive sale on Harley-Davidson gear. Like up to 20 to 40% off on last year's parts and gear and all that good stuff. So I am excited for that. I might actually capitalize on that and take advantage of it, because I could definitely use another riding jacket. This riding jacket is a Sedici. I got it from Cycle Gear down in Southern Virginia. And I've been wearing it religiously whenever I ride, except a handful of times that I haven't because it's just been too hot. I actually started tracking this and all my vehicles into something called Fuely, a really cool website actually. And it's pretty much in the name. You track your fuel mileage and it tracks it for you. You put in how much you spent for fuel, how much fuel you put in, and what was your distance between fill-ups, and it does the mile per gallon calculation for you. And it tracks that data historically. So, but squirrels. So I started using Fuely, so I started tracking the Harley's economy, and we're averaging between 39 and 41, so we're going to call it right in the middle of 40 miles per gallon, which for this big behemoth, for its outdated fuel injection system, even when it was new, and its outdated engine technology, even when it was new, I mean, Kawasaki already had 4 valves per cylinder in 2001. This is 2002, and this 88 CI only has 2 valves per cylinder. I mean, come on. More air in, more exhaust out means more horsepower produced. Come on, Harley. I've tracked enough. I think I've tracked 1,000. I've started tracking it the 13th of April, and I've already clocked 1,015 or some level of mileage. I'll put a screen flash up here of my Fuelie profile, and you can see total miles logged. What's really cool is it actually tells you the cost per mile to run your vehicle, and this was both an awesome thing to see and a really sad statistic that this bike is 10 cents a mile to run, thereabouts. I think my Silverado is 18 cents a mile, which makes more sense. And little Susie is only like 7, but I've hardly put fuel through little Susie this year just because I've been riding the Harley so much, because I've been doing longer journeys. Ironically, of all things, I'm actually looking very, very heavily into a Honda Super Cub, as I don't know what the future for work holds. If they start asking us to commute in daily, I really don't want to take the Harley and commute to work, because it is a rather heavy bike to commute in. And I can do it. I've done it. I do it every so often. But I would sooner equip a Honda Super Cub to do it. I've already weighed out some modifications I would need to do to it first to make it a bit more suitable, and that would be to put a smaller front, a lesser count front sprocket on it, just so it gets a little bit more power in the top ends of it. Definitely need a windshield. And I, even for this Harley, have not found a really good way to mount an Easy Pass transponder yet. And I don't, depending on where my viewers are from, you might have something similar. I know Florida has their own system. The Midwest has its own system. I think California has their own system, but Easy Pass is what we use up and down the Carolinas. Well, I think Carolinas uses a different pass system. But I think that and Easy Pass are interoperable. I don't know. I have to go back and do research now. Now I'm wondering. I don't think I'll ever own a new touring bike. Like, I don't think I'll ever go buy a brand new Goldwing. I just can't imagine taking the depreciation hit on that. I would be more inclined to go out and buy like a 2016 or 2017 Goldwing. The F6B version, it doesn't have the trunk on the back. It's a really sharp bike when you got, I think, especially when you got the older body style. I preferred the rear end on them just a bit more. I liked how they were a bit more round up front versus the sharp edges they have now, which I still think look cool. Right lane closed, 1 mile. I gotta get over. Oh, man. Pennsylvania is a lawless land. They don't even have helmet laws. And I've passed no less than a handful of people today that aren't wearing helmets, which, helmet versus no helmet, I understand both sides of the argument. Do what you want to do. That's my opinion. I will always wear a full face helmet. Well, modular, and there's the whole modulars aren't as safe as full safe, and yeah, okay, fine. There is a disconnect that you could technically pop the full the helmet open, but I mean we're it's details. If it's something against nothing, or if it's something versus nothing, I'd rather have something than nothing. I am totally ready for this groove payment to be over, because it's getting worse. But the Harley's still walking through it like a champ. Oh, yeah, Audi. Oh, yep, you just wanted to get in front of me just to prove a point. Oh, yep, look at that. You're stepping on your brake pedal because you see something up there that you don't know if it's a cop. Oh, there's no sixth gear up there. Blew a stop sign just to get onto the highway and then try to accelerate past me just to prove what point, just to see a cop get scared and then slow down below the speed limit. You make no sense. I smacked the top of my helmet to my buddy behind me to indicate there was a cop there, even though he saw the cop too. Oh, no, my gas light's on. Yep, I'm going to go throw at least a couple gallons in. Oh, they repaved all this. This is new. This is nice. Although, with how the Harley's acting, I don't think it's fuel system related. I think it's a sensor going out. Although I also don't know. We're going to stop at this Royal Farms real quick. Get some gasoline. If I can make this light rotation. Make it. Okay. I didn't know they had a tractor supply here. Oops, shift. Man, 175 miles on this has been the longest I've been able to push a tank of fuel on this so far. Truck entrance. I identify as a truck. I didn't put a full tank of gas in it just in case whatever is causing it to pop and sputter from time to time isn't a sensor. It feels like it's a sensor. It feels like it's a sensor, so that's kind of what I'm hoping it is, like the engine temperature sensor is just throwing erratic data, because so that's easy to do. As this bike does not have a catalytic converter, as they were not required in O2, so Harley didn't put them on. So that means there's less ways this bike can assess the fuel trims it needs to run properly. And there's another Road King / Softail. Again, guy's not wearing his helmet. So I'm definitely pro helmet, but I'm also pro choosing what you want to do. If you don't want to wear a helmet, and your state says you don't have to wear a helmet, fine, don't wear a helmet. You're only impacting you at the end of the day. You're not impacting me. And that's that defining factor of, like, do I care? Oh, it's nice and cool up here. Probably in the low 70s. It feels quite nice, actually. And I can't tell, is service in the rear or front today? Service is in the rear. They have something going on up front. I do wish they'd plan this a little bit better, so you don't have to walk all the way around the back and front and back and front and back in front of the dealership. Well, they do have some bike parking up front. Ooh, all sorts of toys out back today. I probably got the oldest thing here. Alright, this is where I shall leave you, fine viewing audience. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.